Welcome, Fearless. Happy to have you all here. Welcome, welcome. Uh, Another Tuesday. Again, I don't know where the last week went. Literally don't know, except for I have had the pleasure and honor of spending it here in this beautiful place that my guests designed. And we're going to talk to them today about how that design changes your ROI and how those things, those little things that we think don't matter, actually really matter in STRs, in hospitality, small boutique stuff. So welcome, guys. Pink Wall Design, you are joining us today. So Erin and Heather, thank you for giving us your time and your brain power.
Thanks for having us.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah, and we're happy to have you. Okay, so it kind of, when Angie talked to me about, talking to you guys, I mean, I have, again, the pleasure and the honor of being in this place, Fearless. Just so you know, I'm in Saskatchewan at this A-frame cabin in the woods. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, but there's so many details to this place that are just stunning. I don't know about you guys, but when you think of Saskatchewan, we might not think of stunning. I love Saskatchewan. I love the prairies. I love the flat. I love the big sky. But how many of you guys have been to Saskatchewan? Anyone that's on? Been to Saskatchewan? From Saskatchewan? I'm just going to pull up Fearless and see if I can keep the sound out. We'll see how this works. So say hello when you hop on. Let us know if you have a STR. So for those who aren't familiar or maybe newer, short-term rentals, so things like Airbnbs, Vrbo, small boutique hotels, just kind of the smaller places where you're renting them furnished, and it's at a nightly, weekly, or maybe a monthly rate. So that is considered a short-term rental. So that's what we're talking about tonight, guys. How many of you guys have short-term rentals? Oh yeah, let me see. Lisa. Oh, your sons play hockey there? Oh, in Saskatchewan, that makes sense, actually. Okay, Lisa has a couple of short-term rentals. I know that much. No, yeah, okay. STRs. There we go. Okay. Let us know if you have short-term rentals. Let us know if you have questions. These guys are here to answer your questions, and they are investors themselves. So huge difference, right? When we see investors coming in and being able to advise us, rather than saying, oh, this looks really pretty, they can say this looks pretty, but it's going to actually help you, and here's why. So you guys are hospitality specialists, design specialists. Tell me what that means.
So we design for hospitality spaces. So exactly what you just said. We are designing from a marketing perspective, and we're designing for guest experience and also ultimately ROI for the owner of the property. So there's a huge difference between decorating a place and designing it properly. A proper strategic design is way more calculated than you might think. It's not just like, I like this, I like that. There's research involved, there's planning involved. It's very actually technical, as opposed to pretty, where maybe people might get those two confused.
Right.
And yeah, that's in a nutshell kind of what it is.
So when you say from a marketing perspective, so you design and it looks fantastic. We're going to do a little tour, guys, in a little bit. As well, Pink Wall is going to also kind of run through some slides, a little presentation, and show us how and why these things actually do matter to us as investors in this space. But when you say from a marketing perspective, what does that mean, and how is that different?
It means like you have to think about who is going there. Like when you think about a product, right? Because a short-term rental is a product. When you think about a product, for example, like cereal, okay, are you like a wheat-based cereal for adults, or are you Trix for kids? So that's a very different packaging, marketing, like everything about the product is different. It's both cereal, but your audience is completely different. So you have to design the box differently, think about the strategy differently, and a short-term rental is no different. It's a product at the end of the day. As soon as people are purchasing something from you, you are a business offering a product, and you have to treat it as such.
Yeah, awesome. So you guys are able to put together the metrics between what some of these different elements are and how much of a difference it's going to make in your marketing, in your occupancy rate, in your nightly rate, in your guest satisfaction, i.e. reviews, therefore success or failure of your units. So really looking forward to hearing some of those things from you guys. I noticed that you have top 3 design tips now. Is that in your presentation already, or do you want to give us a sneak peek of that?
We can open up the presentation and go for it if you want.
Yeah, sure.
We don't really have like top 3, like that we do have 3 tips, but they probably aren't what you're thinking they might be,
Mhm.
because they're not like paint your walls this or do that. It's more technical.
It's
Um,
more a
Perfect.
rule of thumb as we design in our industry. So I think it would be helpful if we do our presentation and then
Let's do it.
everybody will understand like why our 3 top things are in our top.
Perfect. Okay, do it. Yeah, let's do it. You can share screen. There you go. Yeah, looks
awesome.
good.
Awesome.
So yeah, really quick, like we're Heather and Aaron. We both co-founded Pinkwall Designs. And we've kind of already covered this a little bit, but we specialize in experiential Airbnb and boutique hotel design. So that's exactly what I kind of just said to you earlier. We're focusing on telling stories. We are blending strategy and execution together, focusing on ROI, focusing on the guest experience, and ultimately trying to and helping you go viral. That's what we really want to do, is help you go viral and create a moment for your guests.
And exactly how we were saying in the beginning with, design starts right from the beginning. It's all strategy. So in every design that we do, we jump in doing a market research. We look at your comparables and the comps in the area. We understand exactly who it is that we're designing for because it's not based on personal preference. It's based on who is going to be your guest avatar and who is going to be visiting your property. So I say that, and to give examples, is it traveling families? What are the age range of the kids in the families? Are we marketing to a traveling group of girls, bachelorette, like wine country? Is it more predominantly just couples? And what age range is that couple? So we're thinking of all these things and we do the research up front. And this was specific with the property that you're at too, because it was a ground up build. So we really were able to design everything based with strategy in mind. And you really want to think of these kind of 3 pillars. Number one is designing for clicks. So basically, when people are looking to book your property, they're comparing. They're looking at other properties. They're not just looking at numbers. They're looking at what does the design look like? What kind of amenities does it have? And these are all things that we think about before we even start our designing. And then you want to think about, okay, now that we can bring in these elements of now that we know who we're designing for, we want to relate that visual impact and create that guest experience. So I'll kind of bring in again on the bachelorette, theme. If we're designing for a group of girls, they want to hang out outside. They probably want a pool if it's on a warmer destination. Maybe we can do like a glam bar, a little karaoke room. So start thinking of that guest experience that they want to have in your property. And then number 3 is designing for your guest generated market. So this is the constant. You're running a business. You want to be making sure that you're marketing your property accordingly, and the guest experience is going to dictate and keep that marketing going for you. People are going to bring out their phones and they're going to be market your property. And then the final one, sorry, I can't see it there on my screen. Heather, just remind me what it was.
Designing for the 5-star review.
Oh, yes. So that is after the stay. So designing for that review, and this goes back to, again, the experience that they're having and how it translates how they review your properties. Every STR host wants 5-star reviews. They want raving reviews. And a lot of our clients do see that because they've thought and they've invested in this design from the beginning.
Okay, so this is like awesome stuff. I'm trying not to interrupt, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. So even just the designing for clicks bit, the fact that there's a lot of research that goes into it ahead of time, and you do that research as part of what you offer to short-term rental owners, and that's fantastic because I know where to start for like how much can I get for a nightly rate. I know that kind of stuff, but I don't know the ins and outs, whereas you guys do this all the time. So, and then one other thing I've never thought of is guest generated marketing. It makes so much sense and must be a huge part of things. So, yeah, brilliant. I love it. So thank you.
Yeah, we'll get more into that
Well,
now.
on that note, getting more into the marketing and branding side of things, like your space is your brand, your property is your brand ultimately. The amount of people that go onto Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook to do research on where to book a trip is just like doubling every single year. Like at least 70 to 80% of people will first look it up on one of those social media sites, then they'll go do like the more in-depth research. So if you don't have a presence there, you're just going to be skipped over. It's that simple. You have to think about marketing and branding. We're long past the days of, oh, I'm not going to do an Instagram, I'm not going to do a TikTok, this and that. Like those platforms are here to stay, and we need to be taking them seriously. And just like every other brand that you see, Nike, this, that, like all the big brands are on there. Your short-term rental needs to be on there too.
So,
Because
no, sorry, go ahead.
okay. Because without it, you have no clear visual identity. Your tone is inconsistent. Your design is just not aligned. Like people are just kind of confused when they're looking at your property. It's easy to forget, like, so you're going to be forgettable. And to design, I mentioned this earlier, designing because it's nice and designing to convert are two completely different things. It's like decorating versus designing. And with a marketing and branding appeal overall, you need to design to convert.
So can I ask you about the Instagram and Facebook thing? So I'm not the best at those kinds of things. But would you then have your own like page or account just for that STR? Or would you have that on a personal account? And then would you hashtag if it's on a personal account versus its own?
I would absolutely not even put it on a personal account at all. You can like announce to your friends and family that like, hey, this is our short-term rental. Like you don't have to hide it, but to be taken seriously for strangers to find it, it needs to have its own account. It needs to be the livable thing. It needs to live separately from you, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So the hashtagging on your personal account, no one's going to find it. You need to, what we usually say is either name the property, because then that gives it even more of like a backbone. And then you can either name the Instagram handle, just the name of the property, but it's very important to, in the description and in everything else, to include like a frame on Christopher Lake, Saskatchewan, for example. Like you have to put in the location and all of that stuff so people can go to it right away. They know where it is. We always say too, like in the description, it's nice to even highlight the fast like top things that they might be looking for, like sleeps 8, full kitchen and backyard, whatever. Like right away, those are going to be things that people are looking for, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll click here and look more at it. But if they come to your personal Instagram and it's unclear, like they can't even find a picture of the property because it's like way down 4 or 5 rows, you've lost them. So it
Yeah,
needs to
okay.
have its own accounts. And really, in a perfect world, a direct booking site would be awesome too. It doesn't have to. Like Airbnb is great, but in a perfect world, it is smart to have that also.
Like what's a direct booking site? Is that
So,
Airbnb you mean or no?
so that would be like www.aframeonchristopherlake.com. And then people go
Okay.
there and they can book direct on the website versus having to go through Airbnb, because Airbnb is a third party.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so great. So have its own accounts on Instagram or whatever it is. Have the, main necessities, sleep, state, whatever your main things are. And shoot, what was that last one?
Like just highlighting some quick amenities, like you have to think of like what are people searching for when they're trying to travel, right? They have a group. It's either their family or their group. They know the amount of people,
Yeah.
and then if the property has like a great fire pit, you can say like best fire pit in Christopher Lake, like something catchy like that. Because then right away people go, oh, cool, like I want to see this fire pit, and they're gonna go click further and look into it further. So like a top like 1-2 amenities, this what it like the occupancy and the name of the property and like the location, definitely.
Location, definitely. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you. Those are really tangible, easy things that we can all do if we have an STR. And I think lots of us, as an investor, I can tell you personally, I've had Airbnbs before, and for me, it's kind of a means to an end. And I think, oh, I'd like to theme it sometime, but it's fine. But with all of these things, I think, yeah, why didn't I have like we had an awesome ski and ski out, like primo location condo in Panorama, BC. Like, why didn't I have its own Instagram for it and have word get out there, have people tag it? Like, it makes so much sense. Just never thought of it. So awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And on that note, this will be one of our kind of top designing tips for you guys. So this next slide, and it's one of the quotes that we like to use around our business, is remember that when you design for everyone, you convert no one. So basically, you want to differentiate yourself from all your other listings. You want to be different. You want to do those themed properties and you want to be able to stand out. So when you're actually trying to look like everybody, or maybe you're looking a little bit more, personal home, you're not converting anyone, because when people are traveling, they don't want to be in their home, or they don't want to be in a property they've already visited before. They want something different and they want to immerse themselves in the experience.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense too. So, okay, so Robin has a question. He's saying, so if you have a STR manager taking after your property, would you still have your own social media account for that, or would you rely on their social media account for that?
No, because if they're a property manager, then they're there to just manage the property. They're not your marketing team. They're not doing your booking, or maybe they're doing your bookings, but they're not they're just managing what comes in. But you need a system to get bookings to come in, right? So there's tons of social media marketing companies that you can work with. There's tons of STR specific social media marketing companies out there. We work with one too, because it's a lot of work. It's like a full-time job. So but it's totally worth it. Like people might think, oh, I don't really want to spend the money, but if you have tons of, if you're 10xing your bookings because of it, then it's being paid for by that. So yeah, a property manager is not, like a janitor is not a marketing team. And I shouldn't have maybe said janitor, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're more of an operations person. They're not like a marketing and advertising person.
And it's interesting though, because lots of times we just rely on our listings, right? Let's say we're on Airbnb. So it's like, okay, well, Airbnb is slow. And so it's like, well, what do you do? And well, the property manager, whatever, has the listing optimized to as good as it can be. And we think like, well, what do you do? And you're saying there's a whole other set of things that we can do on social media outside of it. And yet, since Airbnb is like the go-to, I don't know that we really think about it. Just another question for you here. Andrea is saying, so what if we have an STR, an Airbnb listing, but it's just not as busy? We might need a redesign. Can you take a look at it and be like, this is what we would do, or whatever it might be? And would you have an idea? I'm going to add to her question. So I see you nodded yes. So Andrea, yes, they can do that. But would you have an idea of, if we were to do this, this, and this, and of course, we're not going to hold you to promises. You can't promise anything, but we would expect nightly rate to go up. We would expect occupancy. We'd expect longer stays or short. Like, do you have kind of a bit of a feel, not a feel, a process for determining how that will affect ROI, really?
There's no way for us to tell like how it's going to impact a specific property. We can research all we want, but like that's a whole other side of the business. We can, and we've included in this presentation, just real results from our clients that have worked with us, and then they've come back months later and said this is exactly how it was impacted. So we can share those results, but it's hard to say, because also at the end of the day, we can do our best design. If it's not clean, for example, then like you're not going to get bookings. If the host isn't responsive, then you're not going to get the booking. So there's other players that will affect that. So we can't really like, estimate like how it would increase. Like we know it will though, like it should if everything else is running smoothly, but we'll definitely share our results.
So, and I think that's important too, because stats are great, but when you have real world examples of it, then you kind of can say, look, we can't guarantee this, but this is what happened when we did the same thing in this client's property. They came back with this. So, that's awesome feedback too. So, all right, well, I'm excited to see that stuff.
Yeah, I'll just even add, like sometimes it's just a different lens, right? Like the host might not have the ideas that we have, and it can even be just as simple as adding some feature walls, maybe adding some amenities. It does come down to like what the client's budget is, but we have seen results from clients who have done kind of like this B&B boost, we like to call it. And just because it's constantly like reinvesting in your business, right? You don't just launch it and leave it. You want to be finding ways to continuously improve it.
Yeah, makes total sense. Just going to read you this one question. Even I love this failing to space plan. Profit killer. I love it. Can't wait. But one question. This one says, we're building a brand new cottage for the purpose of Airbnb-ing it right off the lake in a quaint, quiet location. Any suggestions on keywords to attract and design elements that attract families?
Yeah, tons. I don't think we have enough time.
Right?
Yeah.
I bet your brains
You
just like
definitely
explode.
Yeah.
you want to be
Um,
highlighting that you're on the lake for sure. Like
yeah.
family lake fun, keywords like that.
Yeah. Um, Even like other major, like if you're on the lake, but then there's like a really famous restaurant nearby too, like include the restaurant as well. Um, if you're near a major city, like we're Toronto based, but so people will always say like 45-minute drive from Toronto, an hour drive from Toronto. So people know how far from a major city that it is. Um, and then
What
design elements.
amenities are you going to have in your property that are
Yeah.
going to attract, the families and the kids? Do you have kayaks?
What age
Um,
are the kids? Because if they're
yeah.
toddlers, maybe you have like a fenced area where they can't escape. Or if they're teens, like maybe there's a cool like teen treehouse or something on the
A lot of
property.
Okay.
families too like to bring their family furry pet. So if you're dog friendly, that's a big, huge one. A lot of hosts, like even first time hosts, want to steer away from that, right? Because they're scared about the cleaning and the upkeep of their property. But that's sometimes a deal breaker for why a family is going to choose your property if they can bring their dog.
Absolutely. And especially I think since COVID, since so many more people have animals now, it's like everyone wants to bring the dog everywhere. So yeah, really interesting. Okay, and for design elements that will typically attract families, I think, Brenda, that they are gonna have that as part of their presentation here. So uh, let's watch some of these beauties come out.
Yes.
Okay, I'll let you keep going.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So failing to space plan is like the number one thing maybe that we see, is people who have tackled their entire STR themselves. They have not space planned. They've looked at their living room and they're like, okay, we need a couch and a table, and they just buy what they like and put it in, and they haven't really measured. And failing to space plan truly is the silent profit killer, because people can't identify what they don't like about it. They just know that there's something wrong and that they're bothered. Because so we'll get into the points like layouts, drive experiences and experience drive reviews. If and just think about it from any one of your personal lives. If you're cooking in the kitchen with like your family over, don't you want to be able to like have a conversation with them sitting in the living room at the same time? Like, don't you want to be able to be involved if there's a breakfast bar and maybe everyone's like, having a drink or doing like a little wine tasting? Like, how do you want that to work? And how does everyone want to be set up? So you just, those little things people probably don't think matter, but they're so important because it's all about feeling and how do you feel when you're at this property and you're making memories there, and how do those memories feel. So the furniture, yeah, so like layout really drives experience. Too many times we see furniture pushed against the wall with absolutely no intention, and that's just extremely bad for business. It really reads like frat house, like college dorm. It's like kids took their parents' old stuff from the basement because it was free and they threw it in their house and pushed it against the wall. And that's kind of what that reads. When there's poor circulation, same thing. People with luggage and kids and they're carrying stuff and groceries, like you want to be able to move freely throughout the property.
Yes.
Are you, if, is it a type of property where you've advertised that you can like work, relax, work out, all of that stuff? Like, how is that all working together? One of the big things when you fail the space plan is you end up wasting square footage. Like we see so many times with clients, they come to us for a B&B boost, as Erin mentioned earlier, and they have their current occupancy is, let's say, 5, and we're like, well, if you maneuver things around a little bit, you can get 2 more people in here, and like that'll change your ROI for sure. So, and it's just they haven't measured and really space planned properly, so they don't know that. And then just you end up with oversized or undersized furniture selections. We see this all the time as well. Couch is way too big, coffee table is way too small. It just looks weird. And then before you realize it, they're picking something else because they are just more attracted to it. A lot of it is psychological too. Like people are not actively walking into a living room saying like, couch is too big, coffee table is too small. I don't like this because they didn't space plan, right? They're subconsciously like unaware, but they don't like it. So
Yep, totally.
that's space plan.
I've stayed in beautiful Airbnbs, like where, you see the listing but you go into it and you're like, yeah, it's nice. I don't know. Let's go sit outside. And there's just something about it that makes you just not necessarily want to hang out there. And then there's others where I've walked in and been like, I just want to stay right here in this spot and not move for the next 5 days. Like, because there's this, like you said, this psychological, I can't tell you why, but I can tell you that it's there very consistently. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I don't want to have to learn how to figure out what all those things are. So I love that you guys, already have this in practice and have a service that offers it. It's awesome. You can go through your presentation. There you go.
Sorry, yeah, something came up on my screen. I was trying to get rid of
Oh,
it.
oh,
Um,
good.
Perfect. So, another exciting thing that we love to do and everybody should be doing in their short-term rentals, especially now with the amount of competition there is really diving in and focusing on what amenities work for their property, but not just stopping there. So, amenities don't create the impact, it's the design that's around it that will. So, basically, what we want to say and drive home with this is you can have, a sauna and a hot tub as like your key amenity for your property. But if you're just plopping it down on the concrete slab and calling it a day, that's not gonna like convert and give that experience to your guests. You have to think about things like where are they going to be putting their beverage when they're going in the hot tub or their sauna? Are you offering towels? Are the towels, just expected to be thrown on the floor? You got to have hooks ready for like all those things that you have to be thinking about when you're designing. Um, and it really comes down to creating an intentional moment. So, um, we could go on forever on this topic, but that's a main one when it comes to amenities. When it comes to design, it's also just thinking outside of the box. We like to do a lot of, a snack bar or a coffee station in a little nook that's in the kitchen. We're not stopping at just the bare minimum. We're going above and beyond to provide an experience for guests that's something different that they're not used to getting in their own properties and personal homes at home.
Make it a little bit of a treat.
Exactly. Yes.
It's awesome.
And
Yeah, that's why
then
we've gone on
other
vacation
kind of, yeah, sorry, go
retreat.
ahead.
No, sorry, I was just adding that in. Go ahead though.
Yeah, I was just gonna even just take it another step, and another idea is doing like photo worthy spaces. This kind of ties in again to the marketing and the branding of your property. It's a fun memento for families if they have like a fun little backdrop or something different that's unique. And yeah, we're a big fan of neon signs and the branding and all of that.
Ah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, and so the cost of doing it yourself is huge. People are just not aware because they sometimes are either breaking even or they're making some money or they have good months and they're just like, oh, well, this is what it is now, or this is the life of Airbnb and blah blah blah. And it really doesn't have to be. You can be profitable, extremely profitable. You can be in the top 1% if you just do it right. So some of the costs and the unfortunate things that can happen if you do it yourself or are the inconsistent branding, which is huge, poor layout decisions, missed marketing moments, lower perceived value, and then just like a flat, forgettable guest experience. You end up blending in with the competition. You have to reduce your prices more to try to now compete on price when you don't want to have to be doing that. Less differentiation from everybody else. And it's just like a sad experience. So the cost is really high. And it's very comparable to something like plumbing, for example, right? Like, when push comes to shove, I'm sure you can like figure out how to unclog a pipe in your sink, but like, should you be the one doing it if you're not a plumber? Probably not. Like, you never know what's going to happen. What if there's a problem that arises? What if you get a problem in a month from now because you did it wrong? It's like anything. It's, same with a doctor. Like, if you break a bone, like, you need to go to the doctor. The doctor should fix it for you. So it really
Yeah.
is no different from that. If you're going to get into Airbnb and short-term rentals and expect to see profit and treat it as a business, then you need to treat it as a business and have all of the stuff that we mentioned, like strategy, space planning, market research, all of that stuff. And yeah, is it a little bit more capital up front? It is, but that's part of real estate investing and being in business, right? If you're going to buy a McDonald's, then like, yeah, you have to put up the capital first, but then you get the revenue after. So it's the same as everything else, but it truly is
Yeah.
the worst idea to get into the space, but only put one foot in, keep one foot out, and try to do it yourself.
Well, and how many investors have I seen through the years that have gone into the Airbnb space and then decommissioned their Airbnb and gone back into the long-term rental just because, for sure, if there's there's more problems there's more work and finicky stuff in STR than a long-term rental. But you get paid really well to do that if you're doing it right. And so it makes it worth it. If you're not doing it right and you're barely making any more money, then why would you do it? So yes, all these little tips for us to be able to, again, approach this like a business. And I think you're right that, STRs have kind of become a little bit of a, kind of a side hustle for investors. It's a side gig. It's not like, oh yeah, I have an Airbnb, it pays us up well, that's good. But we put much more time and planning when we, talk long-term rentals. So really interesting stuff. All right. Cost of design. Yeah, probably we have no idea how much it's actually costing us.
Yeah. And then here are some of the real life results that we were talking about. So like, we don't have to read every single one of these. I know this is being recorded, but back to that person's question. One of our clients, they exceeded their revenue goals by 30K in 1 year. The very first summer of another launch of ours, the property generated over 40K in revenue, and then every single weekend was fully booked. A really good one at the bottom there is the annual, this was a property in New York. The annual revenue was 78,000, and then we did a B&B boost for them. And then the next year they made 103,500. So $25,000 impact, and I think they spent like 6 or 8K on it, something like that. So
Yeah, that That one was the key one in just changing. They had an unused garage and we saw the opportunity. The clients were obviously on board and did that reinvesting in their business, had the capital then, and they had the results from just doing a simple games room in their garage and adding that to their existing Airbnb. So that's pretty big numbers.
It is, and that's 25,000 revenue increase that year, and
Yeah.
that's then forever more as long as they keep that for. I actually really like too the one that you say, the third one down, our property immediately started booking in low season, because
Yeah.
I know for lots of us that go into Airbnbs, we don't really know what we're doing, and we've realized, oh wait, our 2 seasons out of 4 are good, but there's still 2 seasons literally sits empty half the time. So booking in low season, 87% occupancy first full month. Amazing. This is
Yeah,
cool stuff.
that was northern Michigan too. So December is like a December in Canada. Snow
Yeah,
covered, nobody's really going up north in December, and so those are really good numbers.
awesome. Yes, it's being recorded, and yes, we will want to see more of this.
Cool.
Perfect. Well, we can open it up to Q&A,
Awesome. So guys, if you guys have
or
a question, yeah, feel free to put it in. Just maybe run through your contact information just for those that might be just listening instead of watching, and then the girls will put it in the chat as well.
Yeah. So Instagram and TikTok for us is just Pink Wall Designs. No spaces, no underscores. We're extremely active on both of those platforms. We also have a YouTube channel as well. That one is, and we forgot to put it in here, but that one is Pink Wall Designs Inc. INC. But you can also just search Pink Wall Designs on YouTube and we'll come up. On there is a lot of like transformations before and afters. People can actually submit their listing to us and we will redesign one of the rooms in their property and like show them what it would look like if they implement the design that we pick for them. So those are really cool. We also just give like a ton of tips and that sort of thing. And
Awesome.
then pinkwalldesigns.inc.com, that's our website where you can book a consultation with us. You can go through our portfolio in more detail and see we have a lot of these like revenue before and after things on there, as well as like full photos and stuff of our portfolio. And then to email us, it's just contact@pinkwalldesigns.inc.com. And you can send us an email.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I have a question for you. Okay, if you were doing, and I know you do boutique stuff in hospitality period, but does this stuff change if it's a corporate rental versus an Airbnb? Would the design change or the amenities change, or could you do both? So the reason I ask is lots of municipalities, of course, are changing from allowing Airbnbs to having to have a 30-day rental, for example. So many of us that have had properties, I've had corporate rentals, Airbnbs, whatever you want to call them, for 20 some years. But some of my zoning is now changing and I'm going to have to move back to being a corporate rental. So a 30-day plus booking. Would you design differently for that?
Yeah, because it's a different market.
So I was just going to say, so right now, for example, I'm by West Edmonton Mall. So, a lot of families come. And so I had to add like a playpen and whatever else, all these little things. But when it was a corporate rental, it was all executives and that sort of thing. So I would change back my design, change my listing and redesign for my new profile. I wouldn't just switch and be like, okay, well, now I'm doing 30-day minimum and hopefully people book.
Yeah, because I mean, probably too, like a family probably isn't going to book a 30-day stay somewhere, like maybe some of them, but like probably not very many.
Right.
And if it's a corporate rental now, then your target is like, adults and probably like traveling medical staff and those kind of people traveling for, conferences and things like that. So it's a totally different market. Therefore, it needs a totally different design, different branding, different all of that. I would,
Yeah.
I would change it.
even down to the amenities. I was going to say like corporate, you're going to need an office desk. For families, they're going to want board games, like you said, the play pen. So even thinking of all those things as well.
Okay, and Cheryl, I see your question, so I'm gonna get to it just before we move on from this one. So, and you can tell me if this is true or not. So I had some B&B consultants come in when I moved over to Airbnb from being corporate rentals, and they told me things like, and I think it worked, I think it was true, that just by adding an umbrella, you were able to tick off that box umbrella on your B&B listing. That algorithm then would catch more because there were certain things that the algorithm would want as a minimum in your listing. So let's say that I've got on there a playpen, which was great when it was families. Now I would untick that, or would I just leave that in there so that the algorithm is still catching it? But is it catching it for someone who I don't even want? Not want, but you know. Do you understand my
I think
question?
yeah, I think it comes down to like that's just based on optimization, and a lot of travelers want to see certain things. So it's not like a negative if you have it. I think the more that you can
Okay.
have and put in your properties for it to make sense without it feeling like overcrowded, that you're just trying to like tick off all of those boxes on Airbnb. I think you just have to prioritize which ones make sense for your target market. And then, like if it's simple, like having an umbrella, if you have an outdoor patio set, why not include it, right?
Okay. Okay, so Cheryl's asking, so being located in Toronto, do you support clients who are located in other areas? You look at the floor plan and suggest layout changes, design details, etc., for distant clients. And Cheryl, we're going to do a quick tour of this property that these guys, that Pinkwell designed, down to the detail, all the furniture. And then Angie's going to actually show us on her computer the documents that you guys sent and the beautiful, like, oh my goodness, there's links to everything, Cheryl. There's, yeah, options. Angie's going to show us. She's going to share her screen and show that to us. So that part can somewhat be answered, but what about the do you support clients who are located in other areas?
Yeah, we almost only support clients. Like we don't have any clients in Toronto. We actually mostly work in the States. So I would say 99% of our clients are in the States. We have like 1% in Canada. But really, we can work anywhere. We're completely virtual. So your property can be anywhere, and we can design it, space plan it, whatever you want.
And we
And
say
and
that based on just regulations. Sorry to clarify that. We're happy to design anywhere. It just in Toronto, we have very strict regulations with Airbnb. They're almost like non-existent. So, yeah.
so I have a client that a client, that's funny, I said it that way, that has a condo downtown Toronto. And would that be an option to do a corporate rental and have it planned out by you guys and designed that way
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
Toronto? It can
Yeah,
be like a 30-day plus, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Angie's ready. We're going to go do a little tour and then we're going to come back and Angie's going to share her screen and show you guys the ease with which this process, Aaron and Heather put together, the ease that it all works out in. So I'm going to run down and meet up with Angie. And yeah, I'm going to do that. So hang on tight one sec. And you're on camera there, I think. Yeah. And Rebecca, if you could just spotlight, there you go. Awesome. On it. Thank you. Hello. Ready to roll? You're going to do a tour. Yes. Okay. Do it. Hello. There we go. Okay, so we are standing at the front door. This is a property, guys, that Pink Wall designed. Help from the floor up, luckily, because it's probably easier when a start. But let's go through. Ashley's going to show us some of the space, and then Aaron and Heather, if as we go, you can come. Hey, yeah, like check. The reason we did this there was because this or that. So yeah, all right, let's go.
I might have it all turned down.
Can you hear our sound, Aaron and Heather?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Okay. Perfect.
Oh, we
Oh,
can't
we
hear,
don't hear you.
we can't hear Angie.
Angie, I don't think we can hear you.
You guys are muted.
I think she put on her AirPods.
I saw them in her hand, yeah, but it also is showing that she's muted.
Sorry, everyone. Can you hear that now?
Better?
Yeah, you guys were
Okay.
muted.
And now, yeah,
Sorry.
we heard nothing.
We had so much feedback earlier, so I had my AirPods in, but then I took it out.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so now you can hear us and you can see us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet, thank you. Okay, check out these windows, you guys. This is insane. And black walls, that never would have crossed my mind, but look at how beautiful.
Yes, the black paint took a little convincing. We wanted to do obviously a little more modern vibe, but we needed that contrast, right? We have a lot of white arched walls, so we definitely knew we needed to make a statement. Also, being an A-frame, it needed to make that wow factor when guests are entering the property.
And I walked in the other day and my first word was wow. So mission accomplished. Okay,
Something
so as we go through this dining room area, kind of walk through, let us know if there's anything in here that is a design element that helps with, again, algorithm, ROI, whatever it might be.
Well, something unique to note about this property is that Angie told us that she wanted to enjoy this property with her family as well. Her family all built it together. Like, I think she has every trade as a family member, which is awesome. But so this was a little bit different from our typical process because we had a lot of Angie's input and feedback because she was going to be enjoying this herself as well. And that's fine. We do have clients that will say, hey, we are really buying this like beach house, for example, but we're also going to Airbnb it. And so what that tells us is that the target market is really the family, and then it also should appeal to guests sometimes when they want to put it on Airbnb. So that's just a little bit different from like a strict Airbnb where the owner has never even been there, for example. So so this property was that. So we got some of Angie's preferences, and then we also advised her on what we think she should do for the general market. So the
Perfect.
black A-frame there, that wow factor, we were really big fans of because it is that nice pop. And then, it kind of contrasts with the dining room. In a dining room where you had the phone earlier, a statement light is a must for us. We are huge fans of a big statement light. Lots of people tend to put a dining room table in and then they just have a ceiling light because it was there before. But the difference between a nice hanging statement light like this and a ceiling light is night and day. You just feel more luxurious. You feel like you want to sit around that table with your family. And it just makes such a difference. So that's like really one big tip for people when you are doing your dining room. Do not skip over a hanging light. And there are some very inexpensive lights out there. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on one light. There are some good deals out there. So that would be sort of the takeaway for the dining room.
I love that. And Angie,
And I
she'll show you guys too, but she showed me earlier how there was 2 or 3 choices that you guys sent, all of which were super cool. She chose one, was able to add it to her cart right away just by a click of a button from what you guys sent her. So pretty awesome.
Yes,
All right, so
and
let's
we love
continue
that
on.
it was unique as well in the sense of the statement light fixture.
Mm-hmm.
So more statement lights.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, maybe
always.
not statement, but I mean, they just add so much to me.
Yeah, they do. Because again, a lot like some people might put just like a track light there and call it a day.
Right.
It's very common. Like that's kind of like a builder grade default, just to put in a track light. Or what a lot of people do is they'll put in pot lights over top of an island, and it's such a
Right.
missed opportunity to have a beautiful statement. It just makes such a difference. You even said yourself, you're like, I don't really know. You can't really quite pinpoint it, but like it makes a big difference. It makes you feel better. So that in and of itself is worth it, right?
Yeah, totally. And I love the lighting. So you guys helped plan exactly where the lights would go too. Like I saw the picture. So yeah, pretty
In the construction phase, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
pretty
It
cool. Okay,
matters.
let's go see some of the
Yeah.
bedrooms. And this is some of the stuff that I'm gonna turn it. There we go. Okay. I mean, everything is so beautiful. Look at this. Wow, you guys love
Yes.
wallpaper,
So,
hey?
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and this is not even like that much wallpaper. We have other properties where there's way more. Um,
There's like tigers on the walls. No, this one was kept very on brand with kind of the inspiration, which I'm pretty sure Andrew will share, the overall theme and feeling. And we pulled in all of those elements, right? A lot of wood tones were in the forest, but we do want some dimension, some patterns, which leaned a little like modern, but still kind of fresh and light. And yep, you've got the wallpaper in the hallway. That's always a nice moment to do something. A lot of people always leave out the hallway because it's not where you need to spend a lot of money, and we agree that's not where your ROI is going to be. However, don't neglect it because it still makes an impact as people are going to the bedrooms. How we did the wallpaper there for Angie, it was very budget friendly. You can buy good wallpaper on Wayfair in the sale or like kind of lower end and still make an impact on a budget.
And it's true, when I walked into the hallway, I also had that reaction was wow. And it's just a hallway. Like, so if we look at it from here, it's just, yeah, it just made it completely different for a small investment. So, okay, so bathroom, we've got all kinds of, you guys chose that, you did all of it, literally down to the design elements of it, like the decorating, I should say. Lamps, more wallpaper. You chose all of this stuff. Sent Angie a link. She's going to show you guys how that went. Bedrooms, again, some wallpaper. It's not an expensive way to completely change the feel of the whole entire place. And this was a purpose-built STR, guys, just for those of you that are catching on kind of maybe last minute. Purpose-built STR,
I
designed
will
from the ground
I
up to
will shout out,
optimize the income.
yeah, and I'll shout out Angie with the bunk rooms there because they were able to custom make those to be able to fit more bed like more people in the bedroom. Um and it really like came together so nicely. They did a great job on that.
Right? Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, we're gonna run you upstairs to the this doesn't even take into account the outside because I mean we're in the middle of winter, but very
the spiral
cool.
staircase too is a beautiful statement. Like there was talks at some point of like Angie was like, we might not be able to do it. And we were like, you have to. Like it's such a nice addition. So we're very happy. I know Andrew wasn't a fan of installing it, but we're all a fan of looking at it.
We are.
And now look at it.
She's gorgeous. Gorgeous. You guys even planned to put this in here, which was pretty amazing.
Shuffleboard tables are such a good amenity to include when you are dealing with narrow spaces. We have put these in like little 2-bedroom condos. We've put these in, we've like stuck these behind couches before where there's like absolutely no room for a single game in the entire property. And then we're like, oh, we have, a couple inches extra behind a couch. Like, let's put one of those in. And it just brings people together. It is a check on that Airbnb list that you were talking about earlier. It's now has games where your competitor might not. It does so much, and it's such an easy thing to include.
Totally. It's awesome. Okay, ready to see this? This is also wow worthy. Look at this.
Turned out beautifully.
You guys
Yeah.
must be so proud.
Thank
It
you.
took, and thank you. And Angie and Andrew did a great job implementing like the true winners at the end because it is like a lot. It's a process. They did the ground up builds, they executed perfectly. So yeah, we're really happy with them throughout the whole process too and how it came out.
And to your point earlier, Tiffany, I think you had asked, like, when is something gonna give you a return and whatnot. So, especially specifically in A-frames, there's so much wall and ceiling because it goes like this, right? So, doing a feature wall, such as what we did in that bedroom there with like a contrasting wallpaper, immediately draws your eye just to that space. It highlights the bed. It just levels up the bedroom in general, and it reads very like luxury and put together and clean. Versus had we just left that white, it would be like, oh, cool, here's a bed in a bedroom with so much white happening because of the walls and the ceiling. So it does so much, this wallpaper. It breaks that up, especially in an A-frame, creates that focal point, gives that perceived value and brings that up, makes it feel more. And it just creates that experience. Now this person who's going to be staying in this bedroom is going to walk in and feel wow, and kind of have that moment. Whereas if it's just left white, again, it's just kind of looks like everybody else. So something like that will easily set you apart from a competitor. And when you're set apart from a competitor, you're more than likely to, see the ROI impacted positively as well.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. This alone will get people to book, I would think. Okay, here's the master suite. Again, you guys helped with everything from the lights, the faucets, choosing the cabinets, the floor, the tile, the faucets. And look at this baby.
That's like one of our favorite lights. We love it.
Yeah.
And you know what about bathrooms in general, and like especially master suites? People are so scared of doing stuff in bathrooms, or they think that they don't matter. But if there are any women on this, we spend a lot of time in bathrooms, and you know what, men do too, usually for different reasons. But bathrooms are a place where people spend a lot of time, and you definitely want to have that, especially coming out of a nice warm shower, feeling fresh and clean. You want to step into a beautiful space to just get your day started and feel good. So bathrooms are definitely something that need to be probably spent a little bit more time on versus not.
Which is interesting because as an Airbnb host for many years, I was like, yeah, it's just a bathroom. Don't put money in there. It's just a bathroom. So,
I mean, sometimes that strategy can work. Like if you're low on budget and you have a games room and an exterior to furnish, and you want the money to go there and make that the priority, then then sometimes we do have to say leave the bathrooms. But if there's the budget, like, the bathrooms do matter. And if they're already renovated, then usually not a lot of design is required. But if they're kind of looking old, then an easy way, and we do this a lot of the time too, if a client can't renovate their bathrooms, but they're looking just dated, then paint does so much, wallpaper does so much. Just even changing up those couple of things will make a bathroom feel like this one.
yeah, I totally can see that now, but only after after making the connection. So, okay, so Angie's gonna now share her screen, and we're gonna she's gonna show for those watching. We are supposed to be done right now. We are not going to be, but we will wrap up pretty quick here. But we want to show you this because for me, this was like decision fatigue is huge. And in Airbnbs, for me, they have elevated the income of these properties so much that I'm like, ah, whatever, it's good. It's more, it's more than enough money coming from it. It's more lazy. But if it's this easy, that you guys have made it this easy, and Angie's gonna show us, yeah, why not? So I'm gonna jump off of here, and Ange, I'll let you take the show.
Sure. Yep.
You know, I didn't even ask Heather and Erin, are you okay if I share this design setup guide that you've created for us?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
go
fine.
ahead.
Okay. So this is the final one that we received, which was so helpful because we've got all of the styling installation tips, like right down to how far you measure your curtains and how they fall. You know, the pillow chop, you know, that was super helpful when doing this from a distance where Heather and Erin weren't here on site with us to set everything up. It was like a super simple, couldn't have made it any easier for us in terms of how do we take their vision to life. So they've got all of the different mood boards here telling us exactly where to place everything. Like it just made it so simple. And this document, I don't have, I have a different document open. Let me just take a look here. So for example, when it came to the pendants in the over the top of the island, they gave us, you know, a couple options. I chose which one I liked. I clicked on it. They had it in my shopping cart, ready to go. All I had to do was purchase. Like the whole process was so incredibly simple. And like Tiff mentioned earlier about design fatigue, working with these two took that completely out for me. I mean, we still had some design decisions to make for sure, but it was fun because it was taken right down to the end for us. So even like the wallpaper or paint. So you select your paint color, they take us right to the actual product. Just was super, super simple. And we had our wallpaper installer say he had never seen anything like this, so well laid out, how many rolls we needed. You go directly to the link to purchase. It just was beautiful, super easy for us.
It's
So
always nice
easy
to
and
hear when
so
the
beautiful.
installer is happy.
Yeah.
That's right. We got to make their lives easier, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So just from start to finish, it was an absolute pleasure and joy working with your team and the availability that you gave us. You know, we'd be here working on weekends because we have day jobs in the city, and I'd have a question for you about, you know, fireplace location or something, and you'd respond before Monday morning. And I don't imagine you're that available to everybody. At least I hope you've got some boundaries. But it was just super helpful because then we could make those changes in place before we went back to the city for the week. So yeah.
So thank you guys so much. Ange, if you want to stop your screen share.
Yep.
We're going to wrap her up. If you don't mind sticking around, we're going to jump into our Ignited session. I know George did have a question. I didn't get to George, but I had the question too. What was in the shower? What was that brown in the shower? And it's gorgeous. So, but we're going to just jump into our coaching. For the rest of you guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for putting up. This is the first time we've done like where we're in the same place, have multiple devices, have to do a tour, like just kind of a little bit of chaos switching between 3 different setups. Thanks for your patience. It worked mostly. So come on back, join us guys for Tactical Tuesday next week, every single week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. New experts all the time, and Angie's got awesome stuff lined up in the coming months. So make sure to join us. Thank you for all your love, heart showers, appreciation. If you're on the replay, please let us know. Just type replay in the comments, that'd be great. And Pink Wall Designs, thank you so much for your time and effort. Really appreciate all of the stuff that you shared with us tonight.
Thanks so much for having us, and thank you, Angie, for the shout out. We loved working with you too, and it turned out so beautifully. So we're super happy with the results, and we're very honored. Thanks.
Thank you.